This morning, Portland General Electric is waiting on the city of Portland to review their application to remove 5 acres of trees from Forest Park.
Yeah, their plan is getting some pushback, though, from those who are worried it could have negative impacts on the ecosystem. Fox 12's Drew Reeves joins us now in studio with more on PGE's plan and the controversy. Drew.
Yeah, the company says that they need to remove these trees in order to upgrade the electrical system. It's part of their Harborton Reliability Project. The company says the current electrical system is outdated and cannot transmit electricity at the levels that are required today or even in the future. So this is the area that PGE has proposed removing those 5 acres of trees from. The company says that removing the trees would allow them to upgrade an existing transmission line that connects the Harborton substation to the west. They also say they do plan to add a quarter-mile line to increase reliability. But some groups, like the Forest Park Conservancy, have raised issues with PGE's plan, saying they worry about the impacts of the tree removal on our ecosystem, as well as the northern red-legged frog. They say that is a species of concern. PGE says they have outlined steps they will take to protect the natural wildlife, including that northern red-legged frog. That includes working with nonprofits to protect migrating animals, retaining cut trees and tree snags for wildlife habitat niches, and planting a mix of short-stature trees and shrubs. That's along with some other ideas they proposed. PGE shared their mitigation plans during several virtual meetings. The last of those was last night. They also sent us a statement that reads in part, PGE appreciates that there is a high bar for any project in Forest Park and has filed an extensive application with the city of Portland for a land use review that details the work proposed, all alternative routes considered and evaluated, impact to the area, and how PGE proposes to mitigate that impact. The company says it will hold in-person meetings as well to give people an opportunity to learn more and ask questions once the city's review of their application is complete. And the city says they did receive the application on May 10th and will have their review done by this Friday at the latest. Reporting in studio, Drew Reeves. Good day, Oregon.
All right, Drew.